It was the end of a long day, the kind of day that marks a beginning. Spring had finally arrived in western Minnesota, chasing away the last of the winter chill. The date was May 14, 2008. For 19-year-old Brandon Swanson, it was a day of celebration. He had just finished his final exams at Minnesota West Community and Technical College in Canby. The semester was over. Freedom beckoned. With the school year behind him, Brandon decided to spend the evening with friends. They gathered, they talked, they laughed. He was a young man with a bright future, studying wind turbine technology. The night unfolded with casual parties, first in Canby, and then a short drive away in Lind. He got into his green 2000 Chevrolet Lumina and started the journey back to his parents' house. The drive from Lind to Marshall should have taken less than an hour, a straight shot on Highway 68, but Brandon didn't take the main highway. He chose back roads, a web of gravel paths across farmland. The landscape of rural Minnesota can be deceptive at night. One gravel road looks much like another. Disoriented, Brandon realized he was lost. The headlights of his Lumina cut a lonely swath through the dark. A turn not taken perhaps, or a turn taken too soon. Then, it happened. The Chevrolet Lumina veered off the gravel road, its wheels spun, sinking into soft ditch mud. He was stuck. Miles from anywhere, no one in sight. Stranded and alone, Brandon did what any son would do. He picked up his cell phone. He called the two people who could help. The phone rang in their Marshall home, waking them. It was 1:54 a.m. on May 15th, the kind every parent dreads. But the voice wasn't panicked. It was Brandon, calm. He explained simply, "I ran my car into a ditch." He wasn't hurt. The car wasn't badly damaged. He just needed a ride. Brian and Annette, groggy, were relieved. They told him to stay put. They would come get him. A simple plan. A plan that should have worked. They kept Brandon on the phone. He could help guide them to his location. He could turn his lights on and off to signal them as they got closer. Brandon told his parents he thought he was somewhere near the town of Lind. That made sense. They scanned the dark horizon, looking for the flashing headlights of his Lumina. 10 minutes, 20, 30. The conversation stretched on for an incredible 47 minutes. They tried everything. Flashing lights, honking, shouting his name. Brandon told his father he would just walk toward the lights he could see in the distance, which he believed belonged to Lind. He described walking through fields, climbing fences, and at one point he mentioned passing near a stream or river. His father urged him to be careful. Then suddenly, at 2:30 a.m., Brandon said, "Oh, and the call ended. Brian tried to call back, over and over again, but the calls went straight to voicemail. The connection was gone. The longest 47 minutes of their lives had ended in an abrupt, terrifying mystery. That final chilling moment on the phone call hangs over this case like a dark cloud. 1 minute Brandon was there, a voice full of youthful frustration, walking toward a light he believed was safety. The next a sudden curse and then nothing. His father, Brian, frantically redialed, his heart pounding with a new and visceral fear. Whatever the reason, the link to their son was severed. The one thread connecting them to him in the vast, dark expanse of rural Minnesota was gone. The conversation itself, lasting 47 minutes, is a crucial piece of this puzzle. For most of its duration, Brandon sounded like himself, annoyed, a little disoriented, but logical. He mentioned fences and the sound of water, clues that would help define where his trail led. His final exclamation, "Oh, sa!" is the subject of endless debate. Was it surprise, a slip, an encounter? In a single moment, something swallowed Brandon Swanson whole, leaving nothing but a question mark and a silent phone line. They called the police. The official search for Brandon Swanson began in the pre-dawn blackness of May 15th. Law enforcement from Lincoln County started their patrol, focusing on the area where Brandon said he was. Family and friends began to gather, ready to help. The hope was that daylight would reveal what the darkness had hidden. But the hours passed and they found nothing. It was as if Brandon and his car had simply vanished. The police had Brandon's cell phone records. In 2008, tracking a phone wasn't precise, but the pings were a clue. The final call had not routed through the tower near Lind. It had pinged a tower much farther north, near Taunton and Minneota. And there, just after noon, tucked away in a ditch off a gravel road, was a green Chevrolet Lumina. It was Brandon's car. Inside, everything seemed normal. His glasses were on the dashboard, the seat was pushed back, no sign of a struggle. It simply looked as though the driver had gotten out and walked away. He had walked for miles. The location was remote, near county borders, Lincoln, Lyon, Yellow Medicine, requiring coordination of resources. K-9 units tracked Brandon's scent for over 3 miles, following a trail that led to the Yellow Medicine River. and then stopped. Searches of the river and surrounding wetlands, immediately and in the years since, have turned up no clothing, no remains, nothing conclusive. The most accepted idea is that Brandon slipped into the Yellow Medicine River, but after years of searches, nothing was recovered. Others suspect foul play. The sudden cry could indicate surprise at another person or vehicle on those back roads. Less likely theories include a psychological break or even paranormal explanations invoked when a person vanishes so completely. For Brian and Annette Swanson, the days following their son's disappearance turned into weeks, months, and now years. Their lives were irrevocably altered. They became tireless advocates, organizing searches, speaking to the media, keeping his story alive. Volunteers and neighbors answered. Their strength inspired the community, and the Swansons refused to let the case fade. In 2009, Minnesota passed Brandon's Law, requiring earlier searches for missing adults under 21. It is a legacy born from their loss. To this day, Brian and Annette continue to search. Their home is a command center of maps, notes, and persistent hope. They speak of Brandon in the present tense. Their love fuels their determination. Today is August 28, 2025. It has been over 17 years since Brandon disappeared. We have a 47-minute audio footprint. We were on the phone with him, through his parents' ears, right up until the moment the connection was lost. If he fell in the river, why has no trace ever been found? If foul play occurred, where is the evidence? Each theory finds counterpoints. A call for help, a car in a ditch, but in Brandon's case, this simple chain led to an impenetrable mystery. His disappearance leaves behind a silence louder than any explanation. The static of a disconnected phone call, the whisper of the wind. The search continues, driven by love and stubborn hope that an answer will surface from the river or the soil. What happened to Brandon Swanson? The night knows, and it's keeping the secret.